Match. So what it's going to be, we have this EU versus NA thing. The format of the show match is these players have chosen 7 different crafts. Now each of the crafts is one deck, and they've decided to pick 6 out of those 7. So what ended up happening here is that Bloodcraft for both of the teams was removed. I think Envy is going to be pretty happy about that.
Oh yeah.
So each of the players holds one of these crafts' identities. So we've got representatives for each of these crafts on both teams. Right? And I believe our first match, and we don't really know what the order of the matches were, we just had the players pick whatever they wanted. And I think they've decided to have Essia versus Fantasy step up to the plate first. No clue what craft they're playing, but we're going to get the game started as soon as we can. And what we're going to do is play out each of these 6 matches. It's a 6v6. And then see what the scoreline is at the end. So we've got on Team Europe, it's going to be Essia, Meow, Kionis, Sheepy, Fatina, and Akamaru Red. That's the EU team list. And then for North America, it's going to be Fatina, Underwear, Gengar, Eplicus, Vetu, and Bottles. So he's making his way back. He's a chosen one, so to speak. Oh, here we go. So we've got Fantasy versus Essia, and it looks like the matchups we've got off. Of course, Fantasy is playing Sword against Essia's Forest.
Of course, Rainy. Of course.
All right, guys, take it away.
Oh boy,
Sword.
Mofu, look at these decks. Oh my gosh.
Are these new cards? Is that a new class? What is Swordcraft?
Yeah, this is an early reveal. These are all cards in Chronogenesis. We're playing with them early. Also, just to mention real quick, this is like a more fun format. Like, it's not like that. They're not playing like meme decks, but they're not playing like, you know, hyper competitive. They're playing every faction and not playing hyper competitive tournament decks. So that's why we're seeing, you know, slightly off the beaten path cards.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I saw this exact fantasy deck actually brought at least one of these days this season. Something like this. It had Otohime and Walfred and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure, was that us casting that game and it actually took the game that, like, it won that round?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I mean, have you ever played, have you tried playing the Otohime Walfred combo?
I stopped playing Otohime back when I failed to make it work with Gabriel, but maybe Gawain in some strange combination. Don't laugh at me.
Man, if only one body would stick, I could Gabriel.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it works with it works kind of okay with Gawain. If you lower Otohime to 5, you don't really care about that, but lowering Walfred to 7 so you can go Otohime into Walfred the turn after it's fairly okay. It works against certain things.
Yeah, the only thing that I remember is sort of knocked Otohime back is just it feels like it's so much harder to. That was a pretty good shot from that May, but it's so much harder to like play Otohime and keep everything. It's like they printed so many clears for it. You don't get that dream Sage Commander anymore, and Walfred just seems even harder to get off. But you know, sometimes your opponent's just playing whatever. You have that flexibility to just do whatever.
Right. It's really hard to get that off, actually. I think it was like the printing of Breath of Salamander, and then because Will of the Forest used to not be good enough sometimes. It wasn't enough, but with the addition of like even Cassiopeia now, you can get a Will of the Forest combo and then also evolve over the last body that's alive. Otohime is just, she's very easy to get rid of.
All I gotta do is slam that copy of Goblin Slayer Lucius that you put in every deck to answer her.
I don't think that actually clears the 1/2s. I don't.
It does. He does 2 damage to 1 cost because he thinks that her little bodyguards are actually goblins.
Are they 1 or are they 2?
They're 1.
Are they 1?
I'm
okay,
100%
it's been a while.
on
I haven't
this,
played Otohime in a while.
Yeah, the one time I played an Otohime and it got cleared by Goblin Slayer Lucius was when I realized.
It's been a while since they've been kaleidoscoping glowed back into my hand and I've had to replay them.
Right. Oh, so this is Homecoming? I'm assuming there's a wolf here. I mean, I don't think we have access to the lists here at all.
We actually saw the Homecoming in the Mulligan. He got rid of it.
Right.
But there were a few Japanese lists. I don't want to say too many because I don't want to spread this out as like a thing that's good or something. But there were a few playing Homecoming in Roach. You play Roach to poke and you bounce it with Homecoming. But Wolf would make the most sense, actually.
It seems like a pretty tough actual matchup to be going into playing Roach when it's like Captain Walfred, unlike Sage Commander, just manages to give the entire board ward, as well as running the Mars White Paladin combo in this, but maybe like Homecoming is what you'd need against this. So I see it coming in here with that snipe.
Homecoming's actually, yeah, it's actually a great tech. When the whole board gets buffed by Walford, or just like a massive Otahime you can't get rid of, you just put it back in their hand. And it would actually destroy most of the followers, because you can't put 5 things in your hand if your hand has 7 cards in it.
Was that not the most nostalgic feeling watching that go down? It's just that on-curve Otahime.
I guard Otahime.
I mean, it looks just as obnoxious as I remember. Well, never mind, he drew Cassiopeia as I'm staring upwards.
He actually kill all of it. He can kill all of it without even trying. Otahime only puts, what is that? 4 times 2 plus 4? That's not nearly enough. You can get rid of that for sure.
Yeah, it's 8 if you evolved one. Well, I guess you'd probably deal damage to whatever was evolved, but like a general range of like 8 defense to get rid of is like... I mean, back in Darkness Evolved, I don't think it was a really trustworthy way to go to try to just build up a hand of 9 cards to be able to clear it with Will of the Forest, because you probably just got Otahime off of the back of a Floral Fencer and an Aurelia, so they're forcing you to already commit your entire hand to answer all of that.
And that was the strength of Midsword back then. Like, it was able to like apply constant pressure like that. That was the whole point of it. But now that removals have caught up, it can't really do that anymore. Yeah.
It kind of is interesting to think about for me, because back then Sword was still really good at being aggressive, but it didn't really have any massive or significant sources of storm. It had like Quick Blader and Novice Trooper early on. Ooh.
Right, yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that Homecoming was insane. You're right, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, you know, that's what happens to Otahime now. We just watch him completely play out the same, just play them out the same way as you used to, the usual response to Homecoming.
Basically. He also gets a free evolve on a Luminous Mage, so it's not that big of a deal. It's the exact same board again, except the mage is now healed. So really,
just
we got
another
nowhere.
Homecoming, at least.
Yeah.
And this is pretty rough. Fantasy gets his Otahime, it gets mostly cleared, but Sword has so many tools to flood again. It's like, this isn't really kind of an easy matchup for Forest, since in all these expansions they have yet to really get a solid, easy-to-use board clear other than Cassiopeia.
Well, they do have access to Bahamut. He is free. Or not free, but neutral, rather. But
free?
that was kind of a exercise in like practicality of why Homecoming is just not played anymore. You spend 7 play points, yeah, you wipe the board, but your opponent just spends 8 or 7 again, and then you're in the same exact spot again.
Yeah. Especially if Fantasy were running something that had a bit more storm behind it. It's just you just take that damage every turn and Homecoming tries to get you out of it. Juicy Gawain. Juicy Gawain. Just giving him this follow-up.
Fantasy's actually getting into a spot where if he floods too hard, if Cassiopeia were here to answer this, he wouldn't have much of a board to Walford with, which would be kind of bad.
Yeah. I mean, all it would take right now would be a Wood of Brambles into Fairy into Mahez to just perfectly answer all the throwaway.
Into Mahez.
Into Mahez.
The card that no one in chat knows what that does. Oh my gosh.
I think Goblin Slayer Lucius would also have cleared that really well.
Ooh. That's
oh, Mars.
That's actually pretty spicy. Mars into Walford is not bad.
Yep. That would be a 5/6 Walford with the effect. Has an Evo point left over to just slam over the Aaron. That's like what? Half of Essia's remaining health? Just on the back of 2 Luminous Knights and an Otorime's bodyguard.
That would be, yeah, that would be quite the push. It's gonna go for Amelia instead. Ew. Okay. Alright.
He's still Walfording though. Alright. I'm just gonna go on a limb here. I don't think Essia can clear this.
Probably not. I mean, there's actually not much ward on Fantasy's side of the board because most of those cards are commanders. But I don't think he cares, since he's smacking for a solid solid 11 anyway.
Now, I'm starting to come to the vague and resultant thinking-based conclusion that Walford actually looks pretty insane.
Walford against Forest is actually pretty good. Sword against Forest is actually fairly okay nowadays. It probably won't be once White Paladin rotates, but it's
Fantasy,
okay.
super elated when he won that. It was probably, I have to imagine it was a White Wolf Homecoming Roach deck, right? That would be my assumption. I really think that, okay, Walford, he looks pretty good when your opponent was able to play Gawain to reduce his cost and not have their board removed. To be fair, that board was real sticky. I think especially, and that wasn't even kind of the ideal Mars mid game, right? Because we've seen how Mars can make that mid game real disgusting, especially with the White Paladin. So interesting deck. I think Fantasy's pretty pleased about that. That means Envy, that North America is
They got one last time though. They went 5 and they got 5-1. So if they just don't get another win, then it's the same record again. I believe in you, North America. Keep it going. Keep that flow. All right.
All right. I'm keeping track of their points here. North America 1, EU 0. But I actually didn't. And you can see the progress here. The red denotes a loss and the blue denotes a win. I actually didn't ask you, Mofu. Do you prefer EU or do you prefer NA? We have our next match coming up, which is going to be Meow versus Underwear. Now, North America is in the lead. One win under their belt. And in order to have a good scoreline, they need to win at least 4, right? Because it's 6v6.
Yeah. So
the scoreline will become 4-2. But if they only win 3, then things will end in the most fantastic fashion, where both players are going to be tied 3-3, and that outcome would be, what are you wearing on your head?
He's a meow.
Time to shine.
It all makes sense now. Can't believe I didn't make that connection. All right, take it away, guys.
Oh boy, Abomination.
Wait, this is that deck, isn't it? This is that like PTP.
these are both that deck. Yeah. It's PTP Dirt Rune versus Dragon Newt OTK Dragon. This is
okay. Who wins this? I'm
actually fairly positive Dragon Newt OTK wins this completely. Any deck that has the potential to just outright kill you before you get 30 shadows is going to beat you as PTP, and PTP is fairly slow these days.
Yeah. I feel like Dirt PTP isn't too slow by comparison to Forest. It usually, oh, never mind. He drew 2 of them. That's usually the sign that it's just not going to go well from that point onward.
It's not. Also, if you saw Underwear cheer, he threw his hands up in the air because he drew the God Curve. He's basically at 10 play points already, starting next turn, or turn after next turn.
Yeah, I was about to be like, wait, Dragon Newt OTK has a God Curve, and then it hit
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Oof.
It definitely does. Every Dragon deck kind of has a God Curve. I mean, any Dragon deck is going to rely on ramping to 10, whether it tries to be competitive with that 10 or tries to meme with that 10. It's going to try and get the 10 as fast as possible. So it's going to have a God Curve.
Yeah. Speaking of ramp, do you have a particular opinion on that card that they revealed that kind of replaces Ayla here? I think she got reduced into a 2-cost 2/2, and the ramp is now on an evolve effect. Doesn't lose stats for it.
I think the card is super cool, very comparable to Magic Owl, if anybody's wondering if it's going to be playable or not. It'll basically be essential, and I like the card a lot. The current Ayala is very lazy as far as the player who plays it. You kind of put it down, and it's like, okay, when this finally dies, I'm going to get a play porn orb. You can't stop me unless you banish it. But let's be for real here, no one's going to banish this thing. So it's it's more of a commitment, which I do appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a pipeline?
That's pretty...
Oh my gosh. That's okay.
I thought he was gonna go face with that for sure, because that reduces the amount of how much you have to develop your hand to get all the Dragon Newts, but actually just doesn't want to take any damage in the meanwhile. But I mean, the most unfortunate thing that's happening to Meow here, and I, as a person who's tried to make this deck work every single expansion is sometimes you just don't draw any card draw, which makes it even more difficult to make this deck really work, especially when you're including stuff like Abomination Awakened to kind of fill out the package.
I personally love PTP decks, but if you don't play like Forest PTP, then you're usually stuck in this situation where you're just like, man, I wish I could draw cards, but I can't.
Yeah. Where I think PTP tends to be like the most interesting, or the most interesting stuff that comes out of PTP as an archetype is usually cards that create like tokens or things that fill up your hand from nowhere. I mean, either fairies, because Forest just does that in its spare time, or things like Dwarf Alchemists, so you can discard like Earth Sigils and stuff. But yep, not finding any of it. Meow has to just kind of ditch it for a face strategy here.
I think that was kind of what Underwear's plan was trading last turn too. I think he was afraid of Meow evolving this abomination and just smacking him in the face 3 times with it, because that's a lot of damage. I don't think he wanted that to happen.
So how does he even go back? Is that am I seeing this right? Is that Python?
Oh yeah, that's a Python.
Wait. Okay, what does Python do in Dragon Newt OTK? Doesn't
I actually don't think it does anything. I think it anti-synergizes with the deck, but
does that
whatever.
kill your combo?
Yeah.
Alright, maybe he'll show us. I mean, it's animated, and I have... For one thing, I've never seen the card played, and for another thing, I've never seen it animated. So...
I think that's why it's in the deck, because he opened an animated Python and just kind of wanted to... You know what? Forget about it. I don't care if I'm going to play the card. I want to hold it in my hand.
Yeah, educational purposes. It's to impress everybody, because no one else has actually seen what it looks like before.
Yeah. It's definitely not good for the combo that we thought he was going to go for. It raises a question, though, if he's possibly playing something different, if he has 2 win conditions in his deck. I don't know what they could be. Ooh.
You're playing Dragon Newt OTK. You put in a card that only lets you have, what, like 7+ cost cards in your deck afterwards? So maybe he's like, if I get frustrated with this strategy, I'm just gonna throw Genesis Dragon's face.
Maybe. Okay, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
I can get behind that. Okay. I mean, you know, as a Genesis Dragon lover, I can get behind that.
As a Genesis
I love that card.
Dragon main.
Yeah. Hopefully, as the game goes on, we're given more insight into into what that Python's supposed to be doing, but it's probably not doing it.
I mean, right now, I think Meow is actually just straight up on the train to winning with hitting Underwear 4 times with Abomination Awakened.
Who could have guessed the 6/6 hitting face every turn is pretty good? you can't get hit by that too many times.
Well, Underwear does have an answer. You have to kind of shout the card name as you play and just use a Vowed Strike here if he wants to get rid of it. Yeah. I mean, what other option does he really have is just evolving stuff? Well, he could evolve a Goblin Mage into it, get his last Dragon Newt, but then he'll be on 9 play point. No, Ayla dies, so he can set that up pretty well.
He does also have Breath of Salamander, so he can actually just keep all that alive as well. Ooh.
7 Dragon Craft cards. Very nice. You know, honestly, I forgot Avowed Strike even did anything without its enhance effect. I've like never seen it used without it.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid removal spell. It works on quite a few cards.
All right, well, Meow going in for this burn rune strategy, I believe, but unfortunately, as we see, Underwear has assembled all pieces necessary for the Spirit Bomb that he's just channeling.
Mm-hmm. And just to give some math out there, Dragon Newt Charlottes, if he altered fates with them right now, I'm pretty sure.
Dragon Newt Charlottes.
Yeah, if this Ayla attacks one more time, it's just lethal. So.
Mm-hmm. I want to see the Python though. Like what? That's actually just completely new to me. So. I didn't even know you could run other finishers in this list. It gets rid of Forte, right?
What, Python?
Yeah.
Is it Python's?
I need to look this up. I can't.
It's like 8 or less, isn't it? It's something huge, I think.
Yeah. Okay, it's all things that cost 7 or less. So you have a deck of only 8+ remaining. Yeah, it's probably Genesis Dragons.
Oh,
I don't think we're gonna get to see it. Because here it comes.
Yeah.
Alright, what I like is how it like throws all of them like in sequence. It's not just one big slam of 16, but just like that. I predicted it. Fortunately, Meow didn't really get the hand he probably wanted with this kind of list.
Dragon U OTK seems pretty good. It seems pretty good. I think, you know, I'm confused why nobody has run that in tournament yet.
Are you?
Didn't Kionis? Kionis
actually did have it once in season 1. I believe it was Lest. That,
yeah, it was.
that ran away with the. Lest is, I think, still the only one in North America, at least in the Shadowverse Open, to win with Dragon U OTK and also have a killing blow with Aldos. So.
It's all coming back to me now.
Which is still to this day remembered. Like it's Aldous is not even a bad card, by the way, but just you know.
That was back before he had a name, in fact.
Yeah, he was just Imperial Dragoon. Yep. All right. Well, hey, that's 2 on the board for North America. Envy, you're a god. You are on it today. America versus EU show match continues. 2 wins for North America. They're making their way to victory here. I think
at least a tie.
at least a tie. Swordcraft earned the 1 off the back of some Gawain, Walfrid, Otohime Commander Sword. The Dragoncraft deck made their way using Dragon New OTK with a Python in there, just for show, you know. And next we're going to have, let me figure out who these players are. We're going to have the next show match here, the 3rd match, and it's going to be Kionis versus Gengar. So that's going to be interesting. I have no idea what they're going to play, but I think the excitement, the anticipation is what really sells it. So Mofu is going for Europe, and Envy is going for North America. Let's put some stakes on the table. If you guys, you know, Exodium already has to wear a fraud shirt and buy Aya Senpai and me 20 packs for Chronogenesis. What is on the line here?
20?
Yeah.
Where are my 20 packs? What the heck?
I'll share 10 of them. I'll share 10 of mine with you. We're fine. But what are the stakes
I just want to point out, I'm already down 2 games here. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, so you can make the bets more favorable for yourself. You know, the odds are better, or the odds are worse for you, so you can make your payout better.
If EU wins, I need you to cast RNG Voodoo Magic to make sure that I get Albert in my free packs.
I don't know if that's possible. It's going to be a Shadowcraft Mirror. Gengar vs. Kionis. Take it away, guys.
Oh, boy. Is Gengar playing aggro Shadow, I think? Yeah,
Looks like it. As a goblin. Goblin identified. It's aggro.
We saw Orthrus, too, so... You know, oh my gosh, that hand.
Can you imagine if that Bone Chimera was like pre-nerf Prince Catacomb, right? That would be game. Like... It's over.
Imagine he draws into if he draws into the Orthrus that he got rid of. That would be that'd be interesting. I think Kionis' deck looks really similar. It's a Nep deck, yeah. I was gonna say it looks similar to one.
Yeah, interesting. So from the followers we've seen so far, it looks like it's just gonna be that 2-3-7-8, but it runs like neutral on the bottom half. So I'm wondering if he's got that like Death's Ledger tech in here too.
Oh yeah, actually that's a good idea. I like that a lot. That was slightly popular, I think, before Nep kind of completely died off. That was a thing, yeah.
I remember the only problem with it was like you needed to not draw your 3 drops or like the Attentive Knights specifically before you got to Ledger, or else every copy of Ledger after the first one just didn't do anything for a while until like after the Nep this turn. But it's a pretty cool deck. I wonder if
Okay.
That's a 4 cost, and a 2 cost, and a 3 cost, and a 7 cost. That's okay. Here we go. Casino Nephthys. We in there.
All right. Okay. Kionis is getting it. Okay. I like this list. Have you played a list like this before, Mofu?
Never. I've never pulled a Twilight Queen, and I didn't feel like crafting them until I saw Abyss Straddler. But yeah. So as far as I understand it, if Nephthys pulls Twilight Queen, the next sequential last words after the Twilight Queen gets duplicated, like similar to a Round Table, I think.
Right. Yeah. You basically said how it works. Yeah. It's 100% completely random. So there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, yeah. Here we have it with the 2, 3, 4 7, 8 Nephthys happening as well. And maybe he cut like Mordecai from this because he wants to get that double Cowie. I don't know. Back to the Nether God's also very interesting. So far though,
well, you
I
actually
think...
Nephthys pulls different names. So.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
And shine.
Yeah.
Makes me
But
wonder
yeah,
if he just
so
runs
2378 Nep is it's a deck, right? It's a deck. Twilight Queen, if it triggers on if he's holding Lurching Corpses in his deck, and if it triggers on Cowies, is a pretty powerful effect. So.
For sure. I feel like he's already in such a good spot here though, because this is something I empathize with greatly. For anyone who's ever really played a lot of Aggro Shadow, is if your opponent has like 2-cost removal, then after like 3 or 4 turns, this is your life. Like you have one follower on board.
Yeah.
And you're just working off the top.
Feels bad. You're basically hoping to draw like Cerberus or Soul Conversion, I guess, at this point, if you're Gengar.
Yeah. Well, he does have Kionis nearly. It's tough to escape this like 11 defense range, so if it just goes Cerberus next turn into Phantom Howl, then it was the easiest game of his life, actually. But
right, yeah, if he just
without
plans that perfectly. Except that also almost can't happen because Death's Breath is almost activatable. It's not completely activatable yet.
Right. And Cowie on top of that, I don't know. I feel like Gengar just... This is not really what I would consider the best matchup for Aggro Shadow, just because of how good Shadow is at defending itself from its own aggro archetype lately.
Not even running Ceres even, but he's great at defending himself. A Certain Tap deck is really good here though.
Ooh.
Okay.
Fresh tech
looks like
from
he
the
took
skeleton
a
deck.
page out of the Mofu book. All right.
It's my win con. I think that's good though. He's converted all of his Evo points into face damage, knows where to go. Only thing is that he's not the one using the Mordecai leader, so minus points from my total performance score off of that.
That's okay.
So how does Kunis navigate this though? He's like 4 more damage, and that's it. He doesn't have healing outside of dropping the Cowie. I'm assuming... So Cowie comes down after Cursed Soldier because he's on the draw. He doesn't have the shadows for Death's Breath and can't have it this turn.
Right.
So he just
could have actually had it last turn. He could have done a cheeky... He knew that Gengar wouldn't trade, right? So that 6-2 is not going to do anything but go face. He could have actually soul converted his 4-drop last turn to have the cheeky Death's Breath this turn, but he's not going to get it. He's going to have to wait for Cowie.
How much damage can he clear? Oh gosh, he's dropping down to 1 after the Cursed Soldier. It doesn't have the threat of lethal, so...
Okay, soul conversion's now. So he's got Cowie Death's Breath to fall back on. But if Gengar does enough combat damage, it won't matter.
Okay.
That's
he
so
needs
awkward.
He needs 1 damage. Just 1 damage.
1 damage.
Voices of Resentment. Oh,
that's not damage. Oh, the Orthos would have been damage. Oh man.
Yeah, no other body to sack for that, though.
Fortunate. It's not gonna work. Even if it does. Oh, wait, I answered. Okay, it worked. All right. It doesn't matter though. The Cowie's strong.
Well, he gets the Cowie, and then Gengar can. No, the 4/4 goes into the 6/4.
There's actually a way that Gengar can completely waste Cowie if it's played by Kionis here.
Oh yeah. The zombie party works with it somewhat. I mean, Kionis trades the 4/4 into the 6/4 every time, I think.
Probably.
I mean, that is under the assumption Kionis even just jams Cowie here, because I mean, he doesn't know that he has the strongest bronze on Earth coming down for his head here.
Right. Well, as Kionis, you don't have to make that trade every time, because you have to realize, like, Shadow has no banishes. How do they get rid of the Cowie outside of trading into it?
Oh, yeah.
That heals you anyway, so...
Yeah.
Okay, Death Sludger, okay.
Ledger. Wait!
Into... He's not at 7. It can't beat 7. This is insane, though.
He just lost. The Orthrus and the Cursed Soldier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I can't. He didn't play around Cursed Soldier.
Gotcha. Take
Oh
that,
my
Eater.
God, dude.
Oh no. This is why, if you play with closed deck lists, sometimes you just...
Even still, Rainy, Phantom Howl is a card, okay? Phantom Howl was
Okay.
also 4 damage,
Well,
right?
you
Come
need
on.
to swag out on your opponent, right? You need to have liches everywhere. That's just the thing that needs to happen. Okay. Nobody cares about Phantom Howl. A bunch of spooky ghosts. They can't even...
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't hurt.
Yeah.
It's all an illusion. But yeah, you're right.
You're right.
You're right. The Cursed Soldier, though, is pretty sick. Mofu?
Yes.
Why is it that Cursed Soldier is such a good card? Why is it not an auto-include?
I don't have Ictors in my collection, so I just built Mid Shadow using 3 Thanes and 3 Cursed Soldiers.
Is that real?
And I have at least a 40% win rate with it, which is pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's better than my win rates.
40%, dude. Nice.
So
Still
North
have to climb if I
America,
get lucky.
I mean, North America is looking like professionals right now. They are just knocking Europe down. You know, this actually all makes sense. The meme decks, of course North America is going to win that match. That's all we do. That's all we spend our time doing. We just play meme decks. I mean, I play King Elephant all the time. Oh, actually, it's not a meme deck. I play some very serious competitive decks, okay? North America versus Europe. You know, if North America 6-0s, that's going to be a huge mark against Europe here. I don't know if I'm on board with... Yeah, I don't know if I can support.
Understated.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
The most support, you know, you could do whatever in the actual season of the tournament, but if you fail here, Europe, I'm going to be real disappointed. I'm going to be real disappointed. All my heroes.
Kings, the real crown is going to be put on. Yeah. Everything's gonna be out the water. It's going to be great.
Aya Senpai knows that both him and I, we take our memes very seriously, okay? You know? That's where the real heart of the game is, okay?
Absolutely.
True. Very true.
So we have Onion Sheep versus Eplicus up next. I can't wait to see what crafts they're going to be representing. We've already seen Fantasy represent on Sword. Then we had Underwear on Dragoncraft and Gengar on Shadowcraft. And each of those, actually, interestingly enough, at different points in time, we've talked to them. I guess maybe not so much Underwear, but I know that Fantasy kind of just really likes Sword. He plays it quite a bit. And Gengar actually mentioned Shadowcraft was the craft that he started out playing the game on, I'm pretty sure. So
I remember this.
Yeah, so,
I remember way back when EXG was running tournaments. I played against him in, I think, the first tournament I ever played against, and he was playing a sweet, sweet Shadow deck that made me think about the game in a different way.
So he really actually likes that. So I'm interested to see which of these crafts these players are kind of attaching themselves to. So we have Rune versus Haven. Oh no! Onion Sheep is playing Haven craft. Let's see what their decks are, guys. Take it away.
I like how you
Haven.
said, "Oh no."
Right?
I like how you said that. Like,
Oh no!
oh no, it's Haven.
All right,
I can't believe
Aya,
someone's playing that.
talk some smack to Rainy right now about his hate on Haven, okay?
All right, man. See, Rainy, you can't be hating on Haven. One, because you're bad with it. That's problem. Okay.
Just because you can't win games, Rainy, with Havencraft doesn't mean that Havencraft is bad craft. Okay, Havencraft, best craft. I support it. Aya supports it. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
Let's go.
How can you hate for the white? I mean, really?
Right. Talk about design
really?
space, okay? You got to be looking at every single Havencraft follower that comes out in the future and see if it works with Aether or the White Wing. Then tell me Havencraft's bad. Come on. Too many good things happening.
Come on, Rainy. Sheesh. Okay, anyway. There's absolutely no surprise to see Onion Sheep playing Haven. In many, many events, we've seen him play Haven. So, this is no surprise to me.
Yep. And this is an interesting keep from Eplicus, actually. Decided to keep with the Clark and the Insight and the Chimera, so he really likes this start. I'm assuming this is a Daria deck, but because it's memes, who can know?
Well, maybe it is Daria. I mean, he's running a Clark and Craig's, so, I mean, do you play those in decks that aren't Daria?
Hey, man, maybe it's just tempo spell boost, okay? You never know these things.
Okay, come on, man. I'm not buying that you actually believe that.
look, okay? Onion Sheep is playing Tempo Heresy's Avatar, okay? So I wouldn't put it past Eplicus to be playing Tempo Chimera.
But see, no, but this is the Heresy's Avatar tempo thing is actually a deck though.
What?
Yes.
You tell me this is not a meme?
No, dude, I'm serious. This is a deck.
Get out of here. I don't believe you. Chat.
Hey,
chat.
People make
tell me if he's a liar or not. Come on.
I'm not, dude. I'm not lying. I'm dead. See, this is what happens when you're just exposed to very limited amounts of different ways of thinking, EXO. You gotta open your mind.
Is that right? Okay.
You gotta open your mind.
Hey, I don't discount that it is a deck, but like when you say it's a deck, that means something. That's different than saying somebody can make it. That means that people are playing this archetype. I haven't seen this list. Come on.
Of course you have. Again, you gotta expose yourself to different ways of thinking.
I don't like when you come at me with that word. Expose. Okay, it's not, doesn't make me feel comfortable. Okay, let's get back into Shadowverse. All right, so we haven't learned anything new about Eplicus's deck so far. I think Onion Sheep is pretty clear, cut and dry. He's got some removal spells in Scripture and Themis' Decree. He's got Heresy's Avatar to push his amulets into the late game, and he's got some nice little tempo cards in White Tiger. Who do you think has the edge in this matchup?
Oh, I definitely think it's Onion Sheep. Like, I think it's 100% Onion Sheep. He's got all 3 Themis Decrees, which is like any type of tempo, Daria, whatever list. It's nightmare. They don't ever want to see board clear. He's got all of them in hand right now. Not only that, but the Heresy's Avatar allows Onion Sheep later in the game to just set up really incredible boards that just can help in the game. Like playing Beast Called Arias, the Divine Bird songs. Let's go.
Look at this. Look at this. Tempo spell boost. Who needs Daria? Who needs it?
That's because he hasn't drawn it yet. Come on, man. Come on.
Who needs it?
Obviously him, because he's basically out of cards.
Yeah, he is out of cards. He decided to throw his Chimeras into the board just for a strong tempo play right before Themis' Decree, of course. But with the bird popping and a Tribunal, not so scary.
Right. So, I'm very interested to know, like, and since we're talking about like new sets and new formats and rotation and all that, Heresy's Avatar is one of those cards that I'm very interested to see how it does in the new rotation. If the game indeed does slow down a bit, is there a place for it?
I mean, it's not bad. It basically turns everything on. Like, all the bad things that we talk about in Haven, right, are just the fact that if you play a lot of amulets, they just don't do anything in the late game. With Heresy's Avatar, it turns all of them on. So it just depends on how powerful they get. If the ones that we like, still remain strong, things like that. But I feel like it could have a good place. If everything slows down, I mean, activating all of your late game amulets seems pretty decent.
Well, Eplicus is probably wishing he had a Daria right about now, because that hand is looking pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty garbo right there. And even trying to fight against this lone Tribunal, his hand looks bad, right? He might get a threat onto the board, but how much damage can he really deal before this gets swept onto the rug yet again? I mean, this is probably just going to get Themis, honestly.
He could do that, or he could actually just throw down a Heresy's Avatar now. But he might not necessarily want to blow the Evo here. So I think Onion Sheep is perfectly content with just playing control.
Yeah. Play control, play this Heresy's Avatar. Eplicus might not even have a way to deal with it. It's too big, man. 6'5" body for 7, too big.
Yeah. And one thing I want to kind of talk about with Tribunal is that if Tribunal's a setup, right, they're frustrating, man. Because you're like, well, I don't want to play anything, because if I do, that's a Bahamut. Wow.
That's a Bahamut.
Okay. Anyway, you're like, I don't want to play into this right away, but in a way, it's like, well, if you're just passing turns, not playing anything, how do you win?
That's true. Still got to get there. So Eplicus still has time, but again, this Heresy's Avatar is a monster.
Yeah.
A monster.
He can kill it, though.
Yeah, he can. He can if he basically puts all the rest of his resources into it, and it doesn't look like he's doing that. I think he's thinking, face is the place. I've got to get as much damage in as I possibly can. The end.
I 100% respect that decision, because I think if he starts just trading there's not much he's gonna be able to do. See, look at that. Guardian Sun, that's exactly what this deck runs. Guardian Sun, Heresy's Avatar. I mean, I'm not kidding.
I mean, this deck makes so much sense because, you know, you have Guardian Sun and then you play Bahamut and then sup. Sup, dude. That's some combo. That's so good.
Wow. Yeah. Clearly you get the 13-13 word. Oh wait, that doesn't happen because it blows it up.
These are sweet combos. I think all that's really happening is Onion Sheep just is playing a deck that is running Eplicus out of cards. The end.
Yeah.
And that's all he needs to do. So, yeah.
Oh, I mean, these White Tigers are basically brick wall.
Yeah. And then a Tribunal sitting in play means even if Adari gets drawn off the top, not too likely Eplicus has a chance here.
I'm kind of thinking this might just be a concession. Like, I mean, I guess it's a little early. He does have one more turn. Like, yeah, there it is. He knows. He's like, man, okay, man. It's like, there's nothing. I'm done.
Whatever.
Yo. Oh, yo. He can't. Oh, wait, 7 or less, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Can't Bahamut to the dome.
Oh, man, that's right. 7 or less. I would have been.
That would be pretty incredible. I think Zodiac Demon might actually be one of the best cards in the game if you could discard a Bahamut to it. That would be insane.
Bahamut 13 to your face.
Yeah, take that big juicy L.
Well, that's exactly what's about to happen here. Unfortunately, Eplicus just was not able to draw anything at all.
Yeah, this is what happens when you try to play Daria decks. It punishes you because not even Daria likes you for doing it.
Yeah, Daria's like, don't play me.
Yeah, don't do it. I'm gonna make you brick so hard that you're never gonna want to play me again. All I want for Christmas is. Yeah.
So I
hey man,
it up.
That's a good Christmas wish right there. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yes. Okay, Onion Sheep. You know what? You know, just for that, I hope somehow he loses.
In true meme fashion, Onion Sheep gave away the board. Perfect. I need to see this followed up by a Themis' Decree real quick.
Yes, extend the game for whatever reason.
So I was gonna say that Europe has a chance now, right? Onion Sheep bringing him back on the board, but he might just be throwing this away for Europe. He might just be throwing it away, man.
Yeah, you know what? He might just not care.
He's like, you know what? Down with EU. I'm done with it.
He said, I'm moving.
I'm moving to California next week. You don't even know.
Exactly. I'm out of here. He's laughing.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, what's happening right now?
I don't understand. I think Onion Sheep is writing something.
Can we point out that Onion Sheep's dog is super cute? I didn't know Onion Sheep had a dog until today. Maybe we've seen it on his camera before, but like this is the first time he's got a nice little cute outfit on.
Definitely seen it before today. Well, sheesh. Man, don't do the Themis, please. Just don't.
I'm almost expecting. He's got it. He's got to do it.
Don't do it. Don't play Themis Decree. Okay.
Sad.
Okay. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I think I may have had a heart attack.
Power of Heresy's Avatar right there with Guardian Sun. Here's where the combo lies. Right here. 2 4/5s with Ward. Deal with it.
Well, Eplicus is at 1. He can at least kill the Bahamut with the Dance of Death, but...
Stop!
Yeah.
Going for the Ward. I like it.
It's knowledge I seek.
I guess he didn't feel like killing the Bahamut. That's cool. I guess.
Hey man, this is the only way he can win is by clearing off these wards. Maybe drawing some Blade Mages. I fully expect another Themis' Decree. If this doesn't happen, I will be very sad. Thank you. Thank you very much, Onion Sheep.
I mean, he could have won already, you know? To be fair, he could have already won.
I think what he's trying to do is embarrass Eplicus right now. He's just trying to embarrass him. You know?
Maybe,
I can do all of these things, and you still can't beat me.
No, I know what it is. I know what it is. Merry Christmas from Disaster. I love
it. Merry Christmas, the ultimate BM.
Yo,
the ultimate BM.
Is he gonna trade? Is he gonna trade? I can't take this, dude.
The hits don't stop, man.
Yo, I can't take this.
Jesus, what's your problem?
I'm sorry, this is too much. This is too much. Oh my goodness.
Oh yes, here we go. He can actually just do the same play he did before if he wants to play this Bahamut.
Wow.
This is the worst BM I have ever seen. Applicus draws his Daria.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, but this. Oh, I'm dying over here.
So, what do you think Envy's reaction is gonna be? No, actually, Envy's rooting for NA. What do you think? What do you think Mofu and Rainy's reaction is gonna be if Onion Sheep literally tanks EU by not winning this game?
I think that their reaction is probably going to be similar to what mine is right now.
Why no?
Okay.
Oh, he's dabbing it. There we go. There's the finish.
Thank you for this game.
How does it take 31 cards to find one Daria? That has to be. I'm pretty sure that Epicus with the amount of bricks he earned could build a mansion with what just happened there. That has to be. That is the worst game of Daria I've ever seen.
I think Onion Sheep was really just trying to prove that you shouldn't play Daria. I think that's just what he was doing.
Yeah, that was a heavy brick. That thing.
Yeah.
That thing would sink the Titanic. Hey, Heresy's Avatar. That's a deck. Just
super strong.
I don't know where you guys got the idea that I hate Haven. I actually don't know. I think, good or bad, I have no idea, but I actually love the deck.
You said unfortunately. You said unfortunately. That's where we got it from.
Unfortunately? What do you mean by that?
You said Onion Sheep unfortunately has to play Haven.
Yes.
Unfortunately? Did I really say that?
Yeah, that's what you said.
I don't think. Interesting.
Check the VOD.
I need to check the tape. Hey, Europe has our first win. Europe has our first win. That's strange because, Haven is the only other craft that I play now instead of Forest. I only play Forest and Haven, so weird. Weird how these people get their ideas. Huh? EU versus NA. The scoreline currently is 3-1. And let's see if EU can turn it around. Now, they have Dragoncraft and Swordcraft left, right? North America has Forestcraft and Havencraft left. So, I wonder how these matchups are going to align. I wonder if EU also brought OGK New. I have to think about that. What did Europe bring? The players that are going to be fighting is going to be Fatina versus Vetu. So you can guarantee it's some kind of combo. Ooh, so that makes me think that it probably is Dragon New or something like that. Fatina versus Vetu. I'd be really interested to see what Vetu brings to this. I think maybe Neutral Forest. We've seen him play that quite a bit. But
he might be the Haven player.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's true.
You're right. I think you're right. So Haven versus Dragoncraft. Let's see if that's the case. I think they're loading into the game right now. I kind of want EU to tie this up because I just like the idea that everybody's gonna leave this show feeling unsatisfied and having no clarity on what is the difference between EU and NA.
I'm better. No, I'm better.
Oh no, it is Forest and Dragon. There it is.
I'm so disappointed, V2. V2. we had an understanding, okay? We talked before the cast, we really didn't. And
let's see how this goes with them.
So, okay, are we thinking this is going to be a PTP deck? Are we thinking this is going to be an aggro deck? It can't be an aggro deck, right? It's too straightforward.
It's absolutely aggro.
Absolutely aggro. Okay,
absolutely.
Exactly. You're wrong. Look at that White Wolf right there. That is not an aggro card.
Striking out left and right, man. V2, I thought we talked about this. You were going to play aggro Forest. Oh, wait. That's not it. You're supposed to play Haven. And none of what I'm saying is right. Sheesh.
It's okay, man. That's what show matches are for. They're for fun. What do you think he's white wolfing into is the question.
You know what? I'm gonna just throw something out there. Rose Queen.
Okay. Ooh. You know what? Elf Song, Wood of Brambles. It could be Rose Queen.
Rose Queen.
And for those of you out there who don't know what Rose Queen is, because I'm sure some of you don't, it is a follower that turns all of the fairies in your hand into Thorn Bursts, which are 2 play point, deal 3 damage spells. Pretty solid.
Okay. Yes. Now, V2, I will forgive you if there is a Rose Queen in that deck.
If it's Homecoming, I'm gonna get real bored real fast. Okay.
I'm gonna be very upset. Okay. I'm very disappointed. Revoke his WGP invite. All right. He just he's not allowed to have it. Can't go anymore. You didn't play Rose Queen. Ugh.
Saddening. Really. Well, he's got a lot of card draw. Okay, so he is aiming to keep a lot of these fairies in hand and also control the board. He's even playing Elven Princess Mage. So building up a lot of fairies in hand. This definitely hints to Rose Queen. Definitely.
Please. I think that's the only thing I'm going to say.
Aggro.
I think that well, actually, the aggro plan is very strong against that deck, for sure. Against the OTK. But Fatina does have a breath. It doesn't clear everything.
Ooh, drew his second Altered Fate. Not what you want to see when you're playing OTK Dragon. You never want to see those in duplicate in your hand.
No, you don't. You definitely don't. Because that's just one less Altered Fate for you to draw into.
That's right. That means the OTK combo gets that much more tricky.
Yeah.
Now,
and if he draws another
people watching, if you want to full Altered Fate combo and you're just relying on 1 Altered Fate, the most damage you can deal is with 3 Dragon Newts and 1 Altered Fate to deal 15 damage. That's the most you can get if you're not trying to OTK with it. So, it could get rough.
I am having a very difficult time seeing how Fatina will be navigating from this point forward. He doesn't really have a board clear. He can trade with the Dragoon Scythe or use the Blazing Breath to clear out the 4/2, but and just
didn't even Blazing Breath, just like
hey, it is a Rose Queen.
It is a Rose Queen. Perfect.
Yes. Okay.
We're not wrong about everything. Okay.
Okay. So I'm 1 for 90 today. Great.
We'll take it.
Okay. I'll take it, man. 1. That's 1 more than it was.
So I think what this plan is, the reason he kept that Blazing Breath is so he could have full 9 cards next turn to try to OTK here, because that's his only option.
Oh. I hope he
Ooh, that would have been good a couple turns ago.
Yeah,
but
not so good right now.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, not so good now, and then he wouldn't have the OTK.
All right, here we go. Does he draw it? None of those cards look like Altered Fate to me.
Nope, whiff.
That's a sad time right there. But NA showing its dominance.
What I think is funny is you saw V2 throw his hands up because he really wanted to play that Rose Queen. I'm pretty sure he was. Hey,
don't concede.
You know, Tempo Forest is pretty good. You know, I think Elf Song has been such a good card for Forest Craft. Elf Song has really, I think, put that whole token fairy strategy, given it like a full circle.
Well, let's not discount Wood of Brambles, okay?
Yeah.
I
think
both of them combined.
Combination.
Yes, Wood of Brambles at the top of the list. Elf Song's just right under it.
Yeah.
Those 2 cards together, that's what makes a dream work, right there.
That's right.
That greater than the whole, you know, the sum of the 2 parts. All right, that means that Europe takes another loss. That means this can only end in 4-2. I guess North America's better. Sorry, Europe.
Obviously.
The age-old question is answered. Feels pretty good to be American today.
Okay, I love you too, EU. I love you too.